This is Television Nigerian, a broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hit Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seat and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your number one choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas. We are currently on NightComSat doing our test transmission for takeoff in the nearest future. Television Nigerian is located in Nigeria at Television Nigerian House, Guzape Hilltop Mansion, beside Guzape White House, Guzape Abuja FCT, and in the United Kingdom at 45 Ancient House, 48 Aerodrome Road, Beaufort Park, Colindale, London. For inquiries,
confirmed cases, 91 recoveries with 10 fatalities. That's the statistics of the coronavirus incidents in Nigeria at the moment. Welcome to another episode of COVID-19 Situation Room of Television Nigerian. I am Charles Ibe. Now, it's no longer a speculation. President Muhammadu Buhari, in a live broadcast on Monday, extended a lockdown on Abuja, Lagos, and Ogun states to further consolidate on the gains of the previous 2 weeks lockdown in the fight against the spread of coronavirus, which had become a global pandemic. Now, we will be x-raying the president's address on this episode, as well as other issues with regards to COVID-19 on a need-to-know basis. So, welcome on board. Comrade Daniel Atai is also in the Situation Room with Mr. Joe. Welcome, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll take a quick break now, and when we'll come back, we'll hit the ground running. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, 2 weeks gone and another 2 weeks set to go. The president made the declaration yesterday, further extending the lockdown on Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, the commercial map center of Nigeria, talking about Lagos State, and sister state of Ogun State, extensively because these are the states with the most prevalent cases of coronavirus pandemic in Nigeria. A lot of reactions to the president's speech. How did it go? How did it fare with you? How do you understand the import that we are still going to be on a lockdown for another 2 weeks? Well, a lot of people are digesting it differently. A lot of people are understanding it in their own way. And a lot of accolades have come the way of the president for the way and manner in which he handled the speech, and of course for the efforts that the government has been putting since this sit at home became a reality in Nigeria. Now, a quick reminder that you are an integral part of this program. So we expect you to call in, to send in your comments, send in your contributions. You can use the comment section. You can call us in right now. Our lines are always open, and we will accommodate your thoughts, and especially when you share how the situation is affecting you, your community, and your loved ones. Now, gentlemen, we all listened to the President's address yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, how did it hit you? Did you see it coming?
Yes. We all saw it coming. Just like it's still confirmed.
I also told you yesterday that surely there will be an extension.
Okay.
There will be an extension.
It was going to be an inevitable movement.
Okay, now would you say it was just like a bandwagon reaction because a lot of other countries were extending theirs, so Nigeria shouldn't be an exception, so let's just follow in, because there is real necessity for the lockdown to continue? Because I've been listening to various opinions. I want to get yours. You really think, yeah, because the president did say, going by the reports he got from the Center for Disease Control, the committee in place, the task force on COVID-19, and also experts from everywhere, all saying there is a need to extend it. So, what is your thought?
There actually was going to be need to extend it eventually. It's not about if other countries are extending theirs or not. I don't know if that's the pattern they followed, but then looking at the situation on ground, the cases are not reducing. We are having new cases each day, every day. See Kaduna now, there's already fear that if the people do not adhere to the instructions of lockdown, they're possibly going to have like about 57,000 cases. So imagine from just Kaduna alone, because I think the latest case, the person actually already tested positive from Lagos, and the person came down to Kaduna in a public vehicle, and he was already positive. So imagine how many other people he must have already come in contact with. So that's the thing. If we are looking at it very well, there's no need to say that, okay, it's because other countries, we actually needed it. We still need the lockdown. And even at the end of this lockdown, 2 additional weeks, if it's still not a favorable situation, I advise that the lockdown should still be extended.
A lot of recoveries. A lot of recoveries. You mentioned about cases escalating.
Yes.
And of course, we still have a lot of people recovering and being set free.
91 presently.
I mean, that's a number. That's quite.
I feel before the end of the day, we might actually be getting 100
more recoveries.
100 plus more recoveries.
So if a lot of people are recovering, a lot of people are falling ill, and then we are still locking down.
The fact is this, sometimes people want to hear what Engineer Dan will say. They want to use my own opinion and begin to judge. Probably some of them will say, was it confirmed? Is it, where was it written? Who said it?
Or are you an expert on COVID-19?
Or am I an expert on COVID-19? But you see, we've been COVID-19 is enough for even everybody to write a book about COVID-19,
True.
Research about COVID-19, should be able to tell the cause of COVID-19. I get it, by now. So why should the whole world be blind and then we are shying away from facts and figures? This is scientific world. This is also a digital world now. COVID-19 everywhere. I'm just tired of COVID-19. I wish we go ahead with another topic. But however, it is important to note that we have to lock down.
There's a necessity for it.
Yes. We have to lock down. We are happy this way because we have not seen what the first world and the Asian continent have witnessed. And the real cause of COVID-19 and the effect on them. You understand? It has not come yet. And because of the presumption that COVID-19 hit, and so many false prophets and prophetess are prophesying doom for Africa already, is enough reason for us to even stay indoor and begin to calculate the next move. If the wife of Big Gate could clearly come on CNN, and I'm sure it is not a fake reportage, and other media platforms saying what she saw, seeing death on the street of Africa. Though we are prayerful nations in this part of the world.
She was being prophetic.
Yes.
It's like this is what is going to happen to these people if this thing ever gets there. Because the cases we have now that we are seeing, the clinical cases, the index cases you are having right now is just pneumonia, malaria, and all those things. COVID-19
has not come. It's not yet here.
The COVID-19 that is available now, I get me.
Maybe it's the baby.
It's the symptoms of COVID.
We're waiting for the mother.
Is the symptoms of COVID-19.
Okay.
Because the COVID-19, if you saw the way it rattled, the devastation it caused in Italy, China,
Spain,
United States, Spain, with millions of dead, people littered on the street. Could you imagine that a Vatican City will be closed down? Could you imagine? In your life, could you ever imagine that the Vatican City, the Pope will be afraid to even come and shake somebody or move about? The Pope, the Papa of the Catholic faith.
There are human beings in the Vatican.
Okay, look at what happened in Spain. Let's take index cases of what happened in Spain.
But Spain is even they're actually picking up now.
Because you see, there was an allegation against China that it is when they distributed the kits to them that they saw more deaths than what Spain was having, and then China had to okay, let's give them solution, and they went with medication to start. But the medication, you see, is like medicine after death. You have thousands of deaths already.
Now, what medication did they take to Spain?
It is China that knows it. The one the China have accepted that we shot here was Avigan and Favipiravir. I get me. So whether it is Avigan and Favipiravir that they took to Spain, or they took to Italy, but what should concern you is that the first instance of visit to China and to Spain, from China to Spain, and then from China to Italy, and the index case increases, the death rate. And then suddenly they started blaming China. What have you done? People are dying more.
So China came in again
to rescue the situation.
So now their cases are dropping.
Now we have China in Nigeria. Should we be
afraid?
That is why I said we should be anticipating. Probably the Chinese people that came, the media are covering up that they are from Chinese civil engineering and construction corporation. Good and fine, their aids are welcome, but it is objective on we, the fourth estate of the realm, to investigate and tell the people the truth, set agenda for the government, and set agenda government at any cadre. You must listen to the media. You must investigate certain things. You must have reasons to tell people why this thing is so. You can't just come on there and say COVID-19, it's a world pandemic. World pandemic has no cause.
Okay, the causes of pandemic of the COVID-19 has been several discussed.
I pray Nigerians should go and stay indoor. If God say you should die indoor, so be it. And if you are not going to die indoor, you survive it. Glory to God. Because the situation, we have been roped into a world, acceptable.
A world wide web.
A world wide web where we must accept some facts and some instructions from the world powers and the nitty-gritty of the World United Nations organization. We have to oblige. We are a member nation, like I made the statement yesterday. If you go deep into that statement, you will understand what I was saying. We have no option than to follow suit, even if they say all nations should lock down now. Big Gate has the capability, all those biggies, all those billionaires in the world have the ability to shut down all institutions in this world, and they can go ahead. But right now, stay indoor. Whether the federal government gives you palliative or not, be praying. If you can fast for 28 days, somebody
I think
else
that's
says
exactly
today,
what we're talking about.
somebody has said today that
like
he has
for
not
our
seen.
own good, so it's better we stay.
We stay indoor. Stay
So
indoor
it's
because
your own good.
the calamity.
Because by the time one person,
I am not a prophet of doom, but I can tell you that something not quite right is about to happen, and then because it's about to happen, please stay indoor. Don't come out.
Wow.
Don't shake hands. Keep the social distance. What you will eat. If you don't have anything, take water. If you will die, pray to God to receive your soul.
No,
but don't die of COVID-19.
It's beginning to sound a little bit scary because I'm trying to look in between all these things, especially coming from this. You mentioned Bill Gates' wife seeing a vision of death. You mentioned China going to Italy, China going to Spain.
These are factual events that
now
happen.
China coming to Nigeria, and Mrs. Bill Gates releasing statements of people.
She's seeing dead bodies on the streets.
Now, and you say everybody stay at home. Don't we? At least we need to know why we should stay at home.
COVID-19. COVID-19. Okay, let's reverse our memories back to 2014, the issue of Ebola case. How come that you people quickly forget events? If you look at that, the video biggest shot in 2015. Look at the region of the West African region that the Ebola pandemic was much.
Sorry, was that video before or after the Ebola?
It was after. There was a video he showed. He gave a map of where the crisis was going to come out.
And did he specifically mention Ebola then?
He mentioned Ebola. The video is there.
So he actually knew there was going to be an Ebola.
He said there is going to be an outbreak, and Ebola outbreak. Ebola outbreak, and he gave the map of the region that the outbreak was going to happen.
And it did.
Sierra Leone, the Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Liberia, all those regions of other West Africa and Central Africa. He mentioned them. The map captured them. In fact, you will see it vividly in his statement. And those things happen exactly there.
Now, would you say we didn't borrow enough from the Ebola experience? Because the Ebola thing was too about people moving around. I think there was a man that brought it, I think Sawyer or somebody.
A Liberian man
that came in.
He just came.
We had to lose a nurse, I think Daredevil.
Yes.
To that situation.
Because the nurse withstood him. The nurse, the woman that gave her life, so knows that this is a setup. What are you coming to do in Nigeria with Ebola? And you are supposed to be a diplomat or per se. Why are you supposed to come to Nigeria when there is a ban on movement? You forcefully came, shared it, and thank God for the proactive action of President Goodluck Jonathan. You understand?
Yeah, we contained that.
And he contained that immediately. And then the nurse who withstood him, who withstood the man, the patient of Ebola. If not, the thing would have spread, and only God knows how many Nigerians would have died.
Right. The problem now is that case now, she could easily curtail it. But now, this thing has gone beyond anybody being a sacrificial lamb right now, because it's even in places you do not know yet.
No.
So
what is happening now? They are discharging people now. They are discharging people. The one that happened in Italy, if it happens here, the ones that happen in Spain, if it happens here, the ones that happen in China, if it happens here for me, if it comes the way we are talking, we are presuming it that it will happen. What is 50-something million deaths?
So now
there will be death on the streets.
We could easily deduce from what you are saying that categorically we are not having Ebola in Nigeria yet. I mean, sorry, not Ebola. COVID-19. We are not having COVID-19 yet in Nigeria.
Well, the NCDC say we have COVID-19 in Nigeria.
And particularly that's why we are locking down.
And that is why we are locking down.
To stop the
And it is better we locked all our route, whether it is waterways, airways, whatever, borders, we lock it. In fact, nobody should come from any country to this country again. The ones we have here, let's contain it. We don't want visitors from China. We don't want visitors from Spain. We don't want from United States of America. We don't want from Italy. We don't want from anybody, any country. Even if you are coming with AIDS, send the AIDS. We will know how to collect the AIDS. To us, we don't want physical, and we'll have to quarantine those AIDS, quarantine those kids. We have to make sure that our people don't die. We just have to make sure that our people don't die because we belong to a group, a brotherhood of a league of nations.
But I think so far they have been adhering to the rules of nobody is coming into the country apart from the Chinese.
Well,
just came
the Chinese, when they came with aid in the name of the construction, did they give them a condition to stop them? They took the flight from here, Air Peace lifted from Nigeria to there, flew on the air for 14 hours and came back with another 15 hours to bring them.
And they are quarantined.
Yeah, they're quarantined
What do you mean quarantine?
They took them,
They took them somewhere.
They took them to quarantine. How did they quarantine them?
They are not in circulation, that's all we know.
Do you understand? Do you know where they are staying?
We don't even know
you-
where our
Okay,
people
I took a vehicle cab to move around to go to this hotel, this Nigerian hotel here. What do you call it? Nikon. They said they are not there. I was moving around to see.
We are looking for the.
I was looking for them so that I
Did
could
you get
ask
any
them.
information
I
previously?
couldn't get any information about them.
I don't think we're meant to know where they
We
are.
are supposed to know. I'm a press man. I need to press to know.
But
I have to know.
But the government knows where their visitors are.
Yeah.
The government refused to tell us how the quarantine process is going, whether the quarantine process is that they will test them of COVID-19 and they have finished the analysis on the kit they brought and the mask they brought or whatever. And they said it's for the corporation. What do you call it?
You seem to forget something.
CCECD.
You seem to forget something.
What am I forgetting?
These people are experts that are supposed to come to help you, and you are now testing them to show
Yeah.
people that are supposed to know what.
No. That was not the initial notion. You see, every nation have their own cases, and they have a sovereign nation have their own constitution that guides them. Our constitution have said, and the president has ordered a lockdown. Nobody is supposed to come. Nobody is supposed to go in. So why are you violating your order? For what reason?
The thing is
And
that-
now, if they came with aid, which one do we believe? The aid for the Chinese civil engineering corporation company, or the aid for Nigerians?
It was
Jack Man brought his aid on the 5th. We collected it from Turkey, isn't it? We didn't go to China to collect that
we
one.
can assume
This one went to China to bring them.
No, you can assume that this is CCECC is a company domiciled in Nigeria, working on Nigerian soils for Nigeria,
Yes.
and now they try to do, let's say, it's corporate social responsibility by bringing in expertise.
That is what you said.
Then they asked the government, and the government said, okay, fine. They didn't just was in.
Well,
the government knew
So
they
we
were
can
coming.
work hand in hand
Yes,
and
we
actually
even went to
control the
welcome them.
situation.
See, you people are playing one game here of, I don't know how to put that game. But then, very soon, and very, very soon, by the grace of God, we will see the truth. Thank God they came with aid, and may it be aid indeed.
Amen.
Amen.
May it be aid to help us,
To
and they,
put
sh-
an
and,
end-
Put an
and,
end.
and they should bring
COVID-19.
and they should bring more aid, because everybody that will be quarantined tested will need the aid, isn't it? For the lockdown, we are praying that the aid should not be the Trojan gift,
All right.
and that is it.
It won't-
Okay, enough of China and their sisters and brothers. Now let's look at the speech, the address of the president yesterday. Actually making it formal for another 2 weeks for the three major cities to be on lockdown for another 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of people have said, okay, they analyze, because we always talk about the body language of the Mr. President right from the inception. We keep talking about the body
His
language.
body language.
Now, a lot from media and from internet, a lot of people have given kudos. Well, yeah, the president really sounded concerned. He came across to a lot of people about the way he delivered the speech and all of that. Now, let's look at the content. He gave reasons for extending, and also he mentioned, like I did see in one of your stuff, he said the president said this is not a joke.
Yeah.
So we are in real situation
The
here.
president knows.
And
He
he
said
knows.
this is not a joke. By the time I pondered over that statement, since last night, I couldn't sleep. He said this is not a joke, and that was why I read it to my analyst today in the studio. That look, there is a number 5 and number 6 of presidential statement.
Yeah.
If you go through what he said he knows what we are passing through, and he knows the pain. You see, we are in a state of quagmire already. So we have been caught up in the web. So we have to just do this to remain. If I'm inside, Are you coming to give me disease in my room to kill me? If I'm moving on the street and I refuse to shake hands with you, will you force me? If I distance myself from you, are you going to hug me? I will be safe.
Yes, like the other day I went to the market.
You
So
understand?
there was this woman, she was putting on the face mask wrongly. You know, we know when you are infected, how you put it, and when you're not infected, how you put it on. So she was putting it on like she was infected. So I went closer to her. I just wanted to tap her, like, madam, you're putting it wrongly, because she was buying meat. So if you need to see the spark, like, don't touch me, don't touch me.
I think I like that.
And really, she was right. To me.
You're not supposed to touch.
Don't touch because you don't know the chemical that
you violated the law of
distance, social distancing. So it was incredible.
So we have to, for the president to have said that, say this is not a joke, not a joke. You understand? And that we know how Nigerians are passing through pains. But you see, it is even better to die honorably than to die of something you don't know anything about. You understand?
Okay.
And like me, I will never, like me, when it comes, even if you bring, it will not even affect me.
Okay, now,
by the grace of God.
Do you think there are, obviously there are high points of that address, a whole lot of giving the reasons, painting the pictures, lauding the efforts of the medical team that containing and all of that. But are there gray areas in that speech, that address, or everything is all good? No. For instance, someone pointed out that it didn't really dwell about the palliatives.
Yes.
Well, there are gray areas apart from the palliative areas. There is one area I want us to look into, and you see, somebody said it today on Spectacle. When I brought this man here, he said, "Which story are we going to write?" About ourselves. I keep on saying that if we have been knitted into the world order, that is the United Nations Organization, or formerly known as the League of Nations, does it mean that there is nothing we could do on our own again? As a father in a family, I should have solutions to certain things for my wife and my kids. As a nation, as a sovereign nation, there is nothing, don't we have our own, medical institutions? Don't we have our head? Must we depend on the foreign aid before we get curative, means or drugs to healing COVID-19 or any pandemic in the future?
We've been asking those questions, but
we should stop asking those questions now. We should provide solutions.
The thing is that it is not in our place, we the citizens, to provide solutions. It's in the government's place, and they haven't still provided those solutions. So for now, they themselves only feel that the best option is to actually get external bodies to help.
Now,
rather, would you say that
ourselves and the government, they know that they have failed.
Do they know that?
They have not accepted the
They won't accept it, but it is their action that is the acceptance.
All right. Okay. Let me put it forth to the government in that regard, if you say so. Yeah. That you see, we have our medical doctors. We have researchers, both trado, medical and scientific, even the orthodox ones.
Intelligent ones.
We have intelligent ones that will be researching. We know that, yes, help do comes from the World Bank, IMF, and the World Health. We know that AIDS come. But there is one thing you must know. You are an independent sovereign nation. An independent sovereign nation does not depend on AIDS all the time. An independent sovereign nation must also cater for her citizens.
All right. Now, in
that regard, gather your researchers now. This is the time.
Yes.
Don't wait for World Health or FDA America to direct you, because they have been caught up in the web and we don't have their situation. So we may give them solution.
Okay.
I'm very sure these advices have been going on to the government for a
very
long time.
I've heard it.
Lots of times.
You have heard many times.
I keep hearing this.
But
now,
we have to implement it.
Now, can we look at it this way again? I'm not trying to play an advocate for the government, but then
I'm playing the advocate for them now. I'm advocating for them to do the right thing.
In doing the right thing, that's where I'm trying to go now. Now, you cannot.
You can see the right thing.
You cannot have a solution to a problem you don't have.
You don't know.
Or rather, a problem you don't have. If you don't have a problem, then you don't have a solution.
Okay.
COVID-19 did not emanate from Nigeria. It is a foreign, whatever. If it's an organism or whatever, it was created for foreign, or God put it in foreign land and it came here. the solutions to it, you don't naturally expect it to come from here. It has from where it originated.
Yes.
Now that's where we begin to look at the root causes and all of that. So I don't really think the government is out of place if they say, okay, these people gave us this thing and they are bringing a solution. Okay, fine, let's see how. It's affecting us, fine, but we can't do nothing because it's alien. Up till now, we are still talking about what really is COVID-19.
Yes.
So something you don't really know, how are you going to know what to do about it?
It's just like you mentioned about China still.
Because
it was still their own
Italy.
problem that came into Spain to cause all that outbreak.
Exactly. So,
and they still had to come in place. So if a whole Spain can accept the help, Nigerians, why not Nigerians?
And then we keep mentioning.
You didn't get the first, I said the first instance. They went there to give them kits, gloves, and masks.
So it was believed that through there.
Hold on now. It was not believed. It was so. Because it was experimented and tested.
And found
to be escalating. So they had to resolve by calling them back. What is this? I get what I'm saying. Yeah. That was what happened in Italy. It also happened in Spain. And so that is why the United States are saying that they are going to sue China for releasing a chemical or biological weapon of mass destruction on the surface of the earth. Now, this thing that is going on, and they say you should lock down, stay indoor. You have to stay indoor because they said a chemical compound or as an atom cannot penetrate to your body if you don't give it a gateway. Because it's not a living thing.
Yes.
The virus that we usually know is a living organism.
No, but they said the virus is not a living organism.
The virus that we know it can move. It has the characteristics of living things.
The virus
that we know.
Which one do we?
The ones that move on Earth that we see, and the ones you test on microscope that moves. Is it not a living thing?
Those are bacteria.
There is virus that lives.
But do we have instances of these viruses that live?
Instances of viruses that live.
Yeah, like in what case?
Well, for instance, the
Ebola only
was it the HIV? Was it not a living virus? They said the HIV, human immune virus, is inhuman and is living and it never dies.
Well, I think,
and you have to suppress it with drug for 52 years, isn't it? So what I'm trying to drive at is this: if the virus is a chemical content and you happens to touch it, it remains in your hands there.
Yes.
It can't penetrate
until you
because it's a chemical agent until you touch
your face,
your nose, or your hand, your mouth, or your eyes. And that is when you give it a gateway to move into your body to begin to have a chain reaction on your organs, isn't it?
Yes.
So I have not seen where chemical becomes virus in my little study. And I have not seen where biological substance or compound becomes virus. So this pandemic that we are faced with now, they said is COVID-19 and it originates from COVID-2. And then they are treating the drugs they are using to treat.
Is it COVID-2 or SARS-2?
We have COVID-2.
Okay.
Then we have COVID-19. Then
no, COVID-19 is just like
is the one that is now said MERS. MERS SARS-2.
Okay.
Yes, that's true.
I get me now. So they have to now bring all these various names from 2002 to 2014, then to 2019, and then name it COVID-19. And then we have it as virus.
But my question has been that coronavirus has been in existence before now.
Yes, that's why they call it COVID-2.
Why
COVID-2.
the outbreak become this wide?
A lot of questions.
Lots of questions. Why now?
Which is why I said.
That is why they say.
And people even asked the question one certain time that there was this beef between the US and China, and then all of a sudden, not up to 2 months.
Conspiracy.
Are you supposed to be asking why? Or you are supposed to be giving the world now solution?
No, we can't give the world solution.
We can give the world solution because the world is in a state of quagmire, and that is why we are.
So we're going to
okay,
give
so
them
we're
a
going to go
Nigerian
to the
institution.
health.
We'll bring the health personnel. I've been talking to them.
Okay.
Some are trying to like dodge from the fact, while some are speaking out. And from what we are learning, we are speaking out now.
All right.
So we are providing solution in a
It's
way.
always speaking out.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I wish the vaccine that we are bringing.
Oh no, that vaccine. We have our own Nigerian vaccines. Very soon you will see them on TV.
Okay, yes.
Well, it is the Situation Room, and we have been looking at the coronavirus situation in Nigeria. Right now, let's go to the news desk to get headlines of stories that made the headlines across the newspapers, across the tabloids. And after that, we'll come back and discuss more on the COVID-19. It is the Situation Room of Television Nigerian. Please don't go anywhere. Join us again. Many thanks for still staying tuned. It is still the television Nigerian COVID-19 situation room, and we are looking at an extension of the lockdown over the key cities in Nigeria, Abuja, Lagos, and Ogun State. Now, the president in his address made there was a portion where he made allusion to the fact that when the state governors should kind of take charge of palliatives to states.
Yes.
So what are we looking at? Is that a tactical withdrawal from the fact that a far cry government have been saying, people have been saying, government give us this, give us that. Now it's not like, okay, governors take care of your people.
Yes.
So,
it is like a stylish pullback system.
So
But the Lagos state government has actually been doing something about that before now.
Yes.
Like trying to feed or give food packages to about 200,000 of their citizens. And I hear now they're about to add like 1 million more.
Okay.
So they already 200,000. So it goes a long way for households that are vulnerable and are actually poor.
So it's no longer a wahala of the federal government now.
He has made that obvious to the president. So
it's still their responsibility. He said in weeks they are trying to get something across to Nigerians in weeks. That's what the statement read, in weeks. So whether within this week or next week, but
he said within the end of this week they will make.
He said in weeks, so something will come to them. So, but on the issue of how it started, I think 10 billion was a mark for states with
the virus.
With the virus
Yeah,
cases.
you mentioned too.
Yes.
Now, aside from the fact that we have 3 states earmarked by the federal government that the lockdown should be total, and we've had some other states that have borrowed the leave. We've seen Anambra, we've seen Rivers.
Rivers State. Rivers should even be included by the FG. I wonder why
By
they didn't
now.
mention.
No, they have
Rivers.
they have.
But you know, some
COVID-19
states
cases
they've done their own personal lockdown.
Yeah,
Yes.
what I'm saying is now. So it is. Do we understand that it's now for the state government to decide whether we are locking down or not? Like I did mention the other time, I saw a report from Yobe.
Yes.
People were moving around.
Yeah.
Some other states that have not, because it's just 19 states out of 36.
Yes.
Now the other states are free to roam around. I mean, no fear of the
In and
COVID.
out.
Move, have churches, go to mosques, do stuff. It's only so. Is that the situation we are having right now?
Well, the situation we are having right now is for other states to begin to lock down. That is my own candid advice. You have to lock your border, you lock down your state, and then while locking down, trying as much as possible to govern your people by providing palliatives. It's important. In as much as we say that, yes, people should just go and be praying and wait for death, it doesn't mean that people should. No. You see,
I didn't hear the president say we should wait for that.
the president prayed for me. I said it here now.
Okay.
I said it in my statement that go and pray. If you can't get food, take
Wait
water.
and die.
But if you take water enough and death comes, die honorably and
Rather than
go rest
to die
in peace.
from COVID.
Yes, rather than to die from COVID-19 and then be stigmatized or be stereotyped or a kind of, it is not good, or infecting others. So it is better. It is part of patriotism. After all, we have the Nigerian armed forces dying for us every now and then in the battlefield. So if you are asked to stay at home, stay at home. If help comes, thank your God. But I advise spirited Nigerians, don't give those help to the federal government. Don't give those help to the FG. In your state, give the help to the people around you.
Exactly what
Emancipate the people around you. If you have an organization, help your workers. Give them palliative if you can. If you cannot, no problem. You understand?
How will they get national recognition?
Forget about national recognition.
I think that's the game plan.
The game plan is national. Everything must not be politicized. We have people right now in my state, some young chaps are distributing bags of rice given to the poor. They are giving to the less privileged. Even the privileged, they are giving to them, because even the privileged, they are losing in this period.
Exactly.
They are losing in this period.
Yeah.
I get what I'm saying. So it is important that you help anybody that you think needs a help.
Exactly.
Some people may not be able to tell you out of ego, out of shyness, but just lend a helping hand. Just lend a helping hand, because it is very important now. The hunger, like you saw our advert yesterday, so he said it is not coronavirus that is killing us now, it's hunger virus. The woman was saying it on top of her voice. And the lady said, I have never seen this type of situation since I was born. And you saw comrades saying that most Nigerians who are Nigerian citizens are not in the middle class. They are either poor or rich. So you have poor people with you. And Jesus Christ said, for you to go to heaven, you always have poor people with you. Give to the poor. Okay, give to the poor now.
In a nutshell, we are encouraging people to accept the situation. These 2 weeks is going to come and go.
Yes. And even more.
2 weeks came and left.
And even more.
And we are still here. Then another 2 weeks, we are still going to come back and say, look over it and say, okay, it has gone. So that we shouldn't talk about palliatives, because we are already asking spirited people to please do the needful. And are we accepting that right now the government of Nigeria as an entity cannot really take care of?
The government can take care, but the government has refused to take care.
Because you can see they didn't still address
You see, well, if I say that the government has refused, yes, because the government has not addressed it in the statement
So it now makes it very obvious.
Very obvious.
Perhaps they lack the capacity.
That is why I said, if you saw Comrade Okafor on stage, I said, where do you think the government can get money from now? But we saw the government budgeting about 10.3 trillion for the budget, the fiscal year of 2020.
That's just a budget.
That is a budget, but they have also discussed about how much they disbursed for this COVID-19 2 weeks, how many millions they have disbursed. I read in a paper where the minister, Minister for Humanitarian and Affairs and Disaster Management was saying that they have reached about 25 million Nigerians, poorest of the poorest of Nigerians, and they have distributed over 250 million naira.
No, but it's a fact that they were out there distributing.
They were distributing. I didn't say they don't.
Yesterday I was reading something. I don't know if I should take that fact up, but I was reading something where someone said that these things that they've been sharing, money or whatsoever, has been mostly in the north.
Yeah, of course.
Even statistically, we have the poorest of the poor much in the north.
But that doesn't exclude that there are poor people in the south.
Yes,
yes, that's
we have the highest rate of poor people in the northern state, and incidentally or ironically, they have been the ones producing the leadership of this country.
And there has been situations where the government tried to share food packages to some parts in the west. Well, let's say Ogun, for instance, and they said the food packages were too small and seemed insulting, so they had to throw it back at the officials that came to. And I was asking myself that are they even aware that some people will even take advantage of that situation and actually start picking those things that they even still threw back at the officials? I think you already have enough for you to actually throw back those little things back at the official, no matter what.
So there is a statement, the question you ask, that is it obvious that the government has refused or the government cannot? The government can do it. You saw how Comrade Obi Okafor was saying that 70 billion, that you said you've used 70 billion, or something burnt down the treasury, 700 billion, but we are talking about just 70 billion. And with 70 billion, that each state will take about 1.8 or 1.38 billion. And you know what a billion is? If I have 2 billion alone, I could win it twice. I can win any election, gubernatorial election in my state.
It's winning election all about money.
No. It's what you are going to pass through.
You're trying to go in the wrong direction.
I'm going in the wrong direction, but I'm just trying to magnify how 2 billion could go, a billion could go. You understand how far it could go? So you are having 100 million times 100 in a billion. You understand? So you can imagine how many lives that will reach, and then you will say 70 billion, you could not use it for your citizens, but 700 billion is missing. And you can imagine the kind of... So I begin to see, is it that the President Buhari that I fought for, I mobilized for,
We
Nigerians massively supported and believed that yes, this man is the answer to the country? Is it that he cannot do it now, or he has been hoodwinked, or he has been scrutinized somewhere by whom? You understand?
Is just not,
and the president that I know, my father told me about him, and I told others the story about him, that this man is the man to save the country, and he has to do it now within these 3 years.
Okay, so you mean he has not
been doing anything.
Well, from what is happening so far, it is a situation of quagmire.
No, the only thing I can say,
the one he has done is being frustrated, and he could not do anything about it. The governors are fighting him. He couldn't fight them. He will give policy, NFIU policy, given local government autonomy. He doesn't stand. So if you are giving policies, you are giving directives that does not stand, you are a kind of responsible without authority. And if somebody is responsible without authority, you can't do much. So if you have given me responsibility, you should at the same time add me the authority. Then watch me how I perform.
I think the only thing so far so good that has happened with the presidency that is not favoring the citizens and is not making us smile or shun the previous works is the fact that he didn't address Nigerians in a way that what they actually wanted to hear. Okay, what will be put in place for these Nigerians that don't have anything? That is actually the situation I'm seeing now,
but
not any other thing.
Perhaps they are trying to play safe. Like I always say, better don't start what you can't finish. Because if you start giving these things out now, for how long are you going to
They're not trying to be in a rush. Like you said something yesterday. If they are trying to say, okay, it's 10,000 naira, they want to share. How long will 10,000 naira really go?
10,000 naira can take you in a week.
And then we are locked down for 2 weeks.
20,000 can take you for 2 weeks. So you heard ordinary Nigerian on the street that we interviewed in our station here. They said, one said, I cannot do. I have to run away every morning from my wife and my family because I have nothing to give them.
So that means if they had started it 2 weeks ago, they have now entered another 2 weeks ago. So that's 2 weeks ago. That's 40,000 naira.
Okay, what would you say about nations who are locking down? Is Europe not locking down? Is America not locking down?
We can't be comparing. We can't.
So why do we? Okay, good. If you say we should not compare ourselves to them.
Yeah.
Why then do we follow the norms that they bring to us?
No, you are not supposed to take it you take it to adapt it to your own situation. Now we are trying to adapt it to what we have around here in Nigeria. You understand? Now don't forget the fact that if you look over time, follow the policies of government, especially when they announce increment in salaries of civil servants or increment in this and that. What do you get? Automatically foodstuff increases, everything skyrockets. Now, if they go out there now that they are giving everybody 10,000, believe me, pure water is going to be sold at 50 naira because they believe there's money to buy it. And now devalue that money. 10,000 will be like nothing before a day or two.
My brother, can I ask you a question? Huh? What is the essence of life to the dead body?
The essence of life
to the dead body.
A living body is a living.
No, I'm just trying to ask. You see, so what is the essence of the economy?
What I'm trying to say.
No. If you are talking about economy, that there will be an inflation.
That's a reaction.
There has been an inflation to the poor ordinary man since the creation of, since we have independence. So what are you talking about?
Government giving out palliatives might not exactly be the solution to this. I would have rather advocated that there should be a systematic lockdown. Yes. I mean, perhaps on a time basis. From so and so you don't move around, and then during the time of moving, so that you don't lock down the economy completely. There should be measures, other measures put in to curtail this. Make it mandatory that everybody wear mask.
Yeah.
Make it mandatory that every market, every church, every supermarket
Are you
has.
There's a state that the government.
Are you still seeing mask?
No. Why can't we make
Are you,
mask?
no, are you? No, we can create our own.
Create your own.
But are you
That's
seeing
what I'm
mask?
saying,
Because
that-
Nigerians are very fast. Nobody's
No, if you remember what I said if they give out policies in America or in Europe or whatever, and we want, and we have to make it our own. We have to take it. Looking at the situation around us now, if we don't have masks here, we can use our tissue paper. We can use tailors can start sewing. Tailors should start sewing masks. Well, I mean, we have industry.
That's sewing in
now.
already.
I heard the other day that the Nigerian army started producing hand sanitizers.
Yeah.
And you understand? So,
Even NYC.
NYC guys
Yes,
that producing
skin.
sanitizers. So these are systematic ways that I would have expected if they had asked me, but they didn't ask me anyway. So they said we should lock down and we locked down. So there should have been systematic ways. I mean, I don't really buy into the idea of government sharing money because it's not sustainable.
It's not
on the long
really
run. How
sustainable.
much is it going to? I mean,
Do you know how many members are in some families?
yes, it's making.
But whether you like it or not, the government is sharing money already.
Okay.
And people that will receive.
The ones that
And people who also take the larger chunk will take.
Believe
so
me.
it is better, it is vivid.
Those ones that have received in the first instance, because I'm sure they shared money and people got it. If you still meet them, they are still crying right now because.
And that is
how
why
long
come
do
out
you
on the
go?
street to cry.
Yeah,
see,
so,
don't know.
I've been advocating for more.
Mr. Charles, sir.
Exactly.
Mr. Charles, there is something you are missing here. And that thing is data statistics. If you give me the honors.
So you're talking about the data and the fact that we know how many we are, so that we know how much we share.
Of course.
And
Okay, right now.
what they want to share is it not to just the poorest masses? It's
No,
not to the
he's
poorest.
talking about even beyond that.
We are talking about
Nigerians.
because if it's for just the poorest, we have just 38.8% of them.
Good, we have the data. So you know them. What do? It's digital. You press it. And if they don't have account, what documents do they submit to you to get palliative before they were counted?
There's even a point.
It's not a long process. This thing is the easiest. Digitalization is the easiest thing to go about with
How do we
data.
really obey that digitalization
Wait,
in Nigeria?
Can we listen?
We are obeying it. We have the belief for statistics. It's there.
Even the statistics.
They refuse to follow this thing.
Yeah, that's what we are saying.
No, that's not what you are saying. You say it is not good. I'm saying the
No, I think
best way.
how useful is it? How are they really using it?
We
in
should
Nigeria?
use it. They should use it.
They should use it.
If
but
they
they're
want
not
to,
using it.
yeah, you saw what
They're
you
not
said.
using it.
You
That's
said
the
they
thing.
didn't give us. They should not.
Can I make a point?
Make a
Now,
point. I will add to
you
you.
said 38% of Nigerians are poor.
38.8%.
When was that data collected? How many years ago? Now, this is assuming that it's static. That is only this percentage.
Why I go
People
by
grow
age?
poor by the day.
Exactly.
People
Some people drop.
People drop.
I think that data is the 28 million
I didn't know
disabled
that-
Nigerians were added to that.
Apart
that
from
data.
disabled, they have said poorest of the poor,
Poorest of the
vulnerable.
poorest.
Vulnerable. And
Vulnerable.
remember, those people,
They are among
those
them.
people have families.
Can I ask you another question?
Which question do you want to ask?
When the vice president was sharing trader money, were there data he was following?
He did not use
He
any
didn't
data.
use
He
it.
was
Just
going
went to
around
markets.
markets and started
It's going
giving out.
around.
When NSIP, National Social Investment Program, were giving jobs to graduates and artisans and funding, were they using data? Yes or no?
They were not using any data.
They were using data.
Which data?
How did they get the names and
They asked people
credit their
to
account?
apply.
People that apply.
For the fact, even see, there's something that if you investigate even like something like this, what's that program about young graduates? This graduate scheme, Empower.
Not
I'm talking about
Empower scheme now. That is what
now,
it's part of the social
investment. It will still
investment.
shock you that there are people who were working that still enrolled for the Shopee, and they get that money without doing nothing.
Yes.
Are you talking about Shopee or you're talking about Empower?
I mean, talking about Empower. I'm talking about Empower,
Yes.
which is the current one.
Yes.
It's part of the SIPs.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm talking about is this.
Because the Shopee is for subsidy.
No, the Shopee is a
subsidy issue.
I just mixed it up there. I'm talking about the Empower. So what I'm saying is, he said those things were done following data. You don't really. I mean, those data are things that put. You know what happened when we talk about the census? people inflating figures. You now tell me that the north is higher than the south.
I don't believe Nigeria
so we shouldn't
follow data.
Yeah, we shouldn't look at those things. That's why I keep saying that perhaps this country, we should not really start advocating for palliatives when they talk about sharing money, especially when they talk about sharing money. If we should be holding government accountable, let's talk about putting infrastructure in place. Let's talk about putting things that will multiply yes. People that have abilities, people that have skills to showcase it, and then providing a natural playing, a level playing.
We know that. We know that, GM. We know that.
Everything so that
we know that in the immediate of 1 month.
Okay, for this
the infrastructure cannot be in place now.
Tactically, it can.
In the streets where we are living, there will be no food canteen from the government as everybody go and eat there right now in these 2 weeks.
But
no, could there be? It can't be now, isn't it? We know that the policy is good. We're talking about under emergency situation. Every nation that have locked down, they did this thing. How come that we are trying to be different? See, we can't be doing the wrong thing and expecting the positive result. I get what I'm saying.
Yes.
Now, let me come like this. You say we don't follow data. How about CBN? Do they follow data? Yes or no?
To do what?
To do what?
To get money from people. Do you have BVN?
Yes.
Is it a data?
It's a data.
Is it not a means of data?
It is. Means.
So
what is it being put in use? It's not about if
you see, I say we have it. I'm not telling the government to use this means. And then you are saying that if they use this means, it's not going to, people are going to fake it. No, it is almost on us to tell the government to do the right thing.
Oh, but we've been telling the government, but it's now very obvious that they won't do anything about it.
And we'll keep on telling them. That doesn't mean that we accept the failure, the state of the failure, the state of the quagmire, or the state of patheticness.
We are not accepting any state.
If you are not accepting, why are you not saying that if they do this?
The government will not do anything about this.
It is
no matter we keep talking from now to that.
Do you know why they refuse to do it?
The president yesterday should have addressed it. They don't want to address it because they know they will not be able to handle it. They won't do it. So there's no use for them to address it.
Thank you, Messi Joe. That is why you are in the business of the fourth estate of the realm.
And that's what he's doing. Right?
And that is, so never you at any time say they won't. Why they won't, we'll keep telling them. You know why? It is easier to be corrupt without data, without analysis. It is easier to, I can go to the market, okay, you see what is happening now, the treasury house is burnt down. And they have told you they have spent so amount of billions, unaccounted for, has been burnt down. And the billions are going to be in the bank.
Is that something
you understand?
To be in a treasury house?
What happens to the computer systems? And the data, the figures are not supposed to be in the computer system. By the time you add, it increases. You minus, it decreases, and it is visible.
Where's the data?
The data is there.
But they've not shown us.
I see. That is why I say we have to hold them accountable. They must go to prison for this.
In this country,
they must
go
to
prison. Show it to us.
They must
even
go to
the masses that they say they are poor, they might even be more than 38.8.
You understand?
They refuse to tell us.
So we must insist on data.
And that we keep insisting.
If they want to give us money, let them use the BVN to give us money.
They will never use the BVN to give us any money.
I do support them not to use it.
They will not use it. That's just
the situation room
so
of television Nigerian. Well, one thing that is clear, the lockdown is real. Another 2 weeks to go. Today is day 1 of the 2 weeks and counting. Please do stay at home. Yes, that's the standard of what the government wants us to do right now. It needs to be to curtail the spread of coronavirus. Stay at home, please. We'll go for this break, and perhaps after the break, before we come back to the situation room, our correspondent team will put together how working from home might really be helping the COVID-19 situation, especially when it talks about the economy. How people are coping working from home. Let's go for this break and join us again in the situation room after that.
My brother, stay at home, stay at home. Corona dey for road, just stay at home. My sister, stay at home, stay at home. Corona dey for road, so just stay at home. Stay at home, stay at home. Corona no dey look face, stay at home. Stay at home, stay at home. For you to live a long life, stay at home. No wedding, at home. No school, no stay at home. No go church, stay at home. No visit, stay at home. No hunger, stay at home. Just prayer, stay at home. Only prayer for you. Serious prayer, stay at home. For you to live a long life, stay at home.
Consequence upon the lockdown occasioned by COVID-19, virtually all the countries of the world, people are compelled to work, study, and carry out all their activities from home. This platform seeks to ascertain from our respondents in Nigeria and outside Nigeria how it has been like working from home and how this may influence their attitude to work post-lockdown. Let's find out.
I'm Dr. Hanim. I'm a lecturer. Currently, I'm teaching in Lim Kok Wing University of Creative Technology in Cyberjaya, Malaysia. So, for this, since the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been staying at home. We have been working from home and conducting online and virtual classes for my university students. It has been 3 weeks until today, and we just received news from our Prime Minister. Unfortunately, Malaysia is going to extend the lockdown because of this pandemic for another 2 weeks. That means it will be until the end of this month. So, because we have to stay at home, because we cannot go out to help the government from the outbreak. So we have to stay at home and we have to conduct online classes.
This is my dining where I've converted to my study room. You are welcome. Yes. Because most of our clients are also on lockdown as a result of the guideline given both home and abroad, we all have decided to pack up our business, suspend it for now, and focus on other important matters that are connected or related to our business in one way or the other. For that reason, I'm writing 2 books.
I want to share my experience about this movement control order and how we have been working from home. As you can see, this is my home, and this is my mini office that I designed for myself. Since the lockdown order, since March 15 up to today, which is on the 4th of April, on the 9th of April, sorry, we have been on lockdown, meaning that we have to work from home. Actually, it affected mostly people. The only people that are not affected are those in essential services, those that are working in the health sector, and also those in the food and beverage industry, and especially those in the delivery industry. So those are the only ones that are not affected. But people like us who work in the university, who are lecturers or tutors, they've been asked to work from home. And since then, somehow it's not been easy transiting between working, in the classroom to working from home. Most of our students, even most of us who are tutors, lecturers, we find it difficult, to work from home at the initial stage. But I can tell you one thing, it is good so far because positively it's improving us in using different kind of tools.
I'm reporting from Mina, Niger State capital. On the 25th of March 2020, the government of Niger State imposed dusk to dawn curfew from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in order to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. These restrictions have largely been effective because the populace have been compliant due to the sensitization and awareness campaign which has been embarked upon by the government through the Niger State Task Force on COVID-19. The civil servants have been urged to work from home. But working from home has not been easy because of the technicalities involved, such as the internet connectivity, power supply, and other issues. Staying focused at home as well is also a big challenge because of the numerous distractions inherent in our homes. But then, with principle and discipline, one can easily work from home and achieve maximum productivity.
I'm a student at the University of Pretoria, South Africa. I'm currently studying Human Rights and Democratization with the Center for Human Rights. And we've been experiencing this lockdown for the past 2 weeks, and it's a pleasure to actually share my experiences with you. So it hasn't been that bad on one hand because lectures are still going on. We still have classes on Zoom from like 9 a.m. to sometimes 2 p.m., sometimes 4:30 p.m. with breaks in between. So we still get to engage with our lecturers and our colleagues and get to do our assignments, classwork. So it's not as bad. And for this reason, I'm really grateful to technology and what it has been able to achieve so far in the face of a pandemic. On the other hand, it has actually also disrupted some of our plans, physical plans. One of the key components of the program was the field trip that was going to be graded, and my group was supposed to go to Kigali, Rwanda, but because of the lockdown, we cannot go at the moment. And it would have been a very good exposure for all of us to engage with the authorities in Rwanda, do our field research, and come back, with new perspectives and views. And so, yeah, on one hand, it's not as bad, but on the other hand, it's really disruptive and has kind of put our lives on hold and stalled things. So I'm hoping the lockdown gets lifted very soon.
Poultry farmer based in Abuja. This lockdown has really affected not just my personal life but my business as well. As a poultry farmer, the demand for our products such as eggs and chicken has gone down by almost about 80%. And for people who are into businesses that have to do with perishable goods like that, it can be very challenging because it means that you can only get about 20% of your product out, and 80% drop in demand means that there's going to be a lot of wastage. And not just that, sometimes not being able to move from my house to my farm, and I have to rely on my workers for information and all of that, I think is very, very challenging. But well, I think it's for the best because like the government and other health officials have announced or have advised, staying away as much as possible is the key to solving these issues.
It's not been easy, especially for those of us that are into private practice in the sense that we run our own businesses. Actually, it has taken a toll even on myself as a business person, because prior to now, I think I was engaged in lots of activities, providing consultancy services for businesses based in Abuja and outside Abuja. But at the moment, things have really slowed down because most clients are actually on shutdown also, and it has actually affected a whole lot. Nonetheless, I've been taking out time to invest in myself, reading, speaking with friends, following the news, and doing a couple of other activities just to keep my mind sane, because it's not really easy staying at home for 14 days, especially an active person like myself.
Here in Ilorin, Kwara State, it has not really been easy since the lockdown, although today makes it exactly 13 days of the lockdown. Tomorrow makes it exactly 2 weeks of completing our lockdown, although we add it's going to be extended, but it's not yet true. I'm just hearing rumors. Since the lockdown, it has not been easy, just sleeping at home, waking up, sleeping, eating, waking up, the same routine every day. No source of income because we are not allowed to. And although I'm hearing some people are carrying rumors that 2 weeks to be added, we have to stay extra 2 weeks due to the discovered 2 new cases here in Ilorin. Although we haven't had anything from the government, like no official message yet, but we are still keeping our head up. Today's is kind of free. People are allowed to go out, get stuffs, go to the market, get things they need. I guess maybe it's because of the Easter, but trust me, Ilorin does not have a total lockdown. We've been allowed to go to eateries, get what we want, but not sit down.
Working from home has been easy for some and has helped a lot of respondents learn new things, while some are still finding it difficult to work from home. I am Chiwendu Osisiagu, and don't forget you can follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter at Television Nigerian for more updates on COVID-19 lockdown. Have a wonderful day.
Plagued with a pandemic or an epidemic. One thing history has taught us is that a time like this would come, but we will definitely overcome and survive the situation. The 1918 influenza pandemic was one of the most deadly in world history. It was caused by an H1N1 virus with a gene of avian origin. It spread worldwide between 1918 and 1919. The total number of deaths of the pandemic was at least 50 million worldwide. The influenza hit Lagos on the 14th of September 1918. Lagos lost 1.5% of 81,941 population in the first 2 months of the outbreak, according to the British Public Record Service of 1919. In no time, the virus spread to Abeokuta, Ibadan, Ilorin, Bida, Jeba, Zaria, Kano, and Bauchi due to the movement of people from affected areas to non-affected areas. On October 14, 1918, the flu was detected in Onitsha, where a large number of people got infected and died due to the virulent nature of the virus, with insufficient health care to combat it. By December 1918, it spread all over the country. By mid-1919, the pandemic came to an end, as those who had been infected either died or developed immunity against the virus. In 1897, the coastal town of Ekpe, near Lagos, was hit with a severe case of smallpox epidemic. Dr. Oguntola Sakpara Williams, the first native appointed assistant surgeon, rose to the occasion by curbing the epidemic through an unorthodox way. While at his posting at Ekpe, Sakpara took the unorthodox step of joining the local smallpox cult with the motive of understanding their operations and eventually terminating the activities which he then suspected was not helping the small community. The Witchcraft and Juju Ordinance in 1917 made the worship of Shopono, the Yoruba god of smallpox, a crime punishable by fine and imprisonment. Let's not forget the widespread epidemic of leprosy in the entire stretch of Egbaland between 1857 and 1859. This led to the establishment of the first hospital in Nigeria by Reverend Father Cookward of the Catholic Church in Abeokuta. The hospital was the first set up as a world-class healthcare and research center then. The hospital, known as the Sacred Heart Hospital, still stands today at Itesi in Abeokuta. The current COVID-19 pandemic is just a phase. Let's maintain good hygiene system. Stay indoors, wash your hands, stay informed, don't panic, and in no time this is going to be over. Nigeria go survive.
brother, stay at home, stay at home. Corona dey for road, oh, just stay at home. My sister, stay at home, stay at home. Corona dey for road, oh, so just stay at home. Stay at home, stay at home. Corona no dey look face, stay at home. Stay at home, stay at home. For you to live a long life, stay at home. No wedding, stay at home. No school, no stay at home. No go church, stay at home. No visit, stay at home. No hunger, stay at home. Just prayer, stay at home. Only prayer for you. Serious prayer, stay at home. For you to live a long life, stay at home.
Many thanks for staying tuned. It is the Situation Room of Television Nigerian, and we have been looking at the extension of the sit at home ordered by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria over Abuja, Lagos, and Ogun states, and of course some other states in the country has followed suit, and majority of Nigerians are in a lockdown situation. We saw people, Nigerians from different places, some in Europe, some in Asia, some also right here, telling us how they have been coping in that video that's put together by Chimwendo Osisiogo, talking about how they are making the very best of staying at home, working from home. Now, right now, we have a situation, Lagos, and I think some part of Ogun State, they've been recorded a lot of rise in insecurities, concerns about rising wave of crimes. Could we attribute this thing to the lockdown situation, or is it like a normal thing that we have always had to deal with insecurities over time?
There's actually been a normal thing that we have had to deal with over time, but the thing now is that it's going to increase, because the reason now they are doing it is because there's no food, there's hunger in the land, like they call it hunger virus. Like the video that we watched earlier on of those that most of them that attacked a vehicle that carrying bread, and I was like, this is definitely what's going to be happening over time. Like this morning, a friend called and they were talking about these people coming to the streets in Egbeda, in Lagos, around that vicinity. But the people were able to scare them away. That's the vigilantes. So I think even if this thing is going to happen, the federal government will know how to tackle the whole situation. That will just be the only thing that will sort everything out.
All right, just a quick one. Before we continue with this conversation, just a quick reminder that you can also call us. Call into this program is interactive. The numbers are there on your screen. Call and tell us what is going on in your environment. Are you having an increase in insecurities? Are you having a rise in domestic? I mean, we did mention about it yesterday. Having an increase in domestic abuses as a result of this lockdown. This could also be an avenue for you to reach out, speak out, and tell us about what you're going through. How is your neighborhood right now? Are people flaunting the sit-at-home order? I mean, if it is happening within your neighborhood, it is your right to report these things so that if peradventure the virus doesn't come into your environment because someone decided to flaunt the order. So please, Nigerians, stay at home. And we do want to encourage you to call into this program. Call, tell us what you think. Tell us. And especially when you go to the comment section, please stick to the conversation. We've been seeing a lot of people coming in to comment and talking about using abusive language on the government, on people. it is not actually encouraged. At this time, we should all rally around our government, show support to one another, because the problem that we are going through is not just a Nigerian problem, it's a pandemic, it's worldwide. So if we are venting the anger should go directed to the COVID-19 and not to the government and not to anybody. Because right now, even the governments are not really having the best of times right now. So, gentleman and lady, we saw the insecurities, like you just mentioned. It's something about what has been going on over time. But I'm beginning to wonder, why Lagos, why Ogun? What happened to the celebrated Amoteku? Or are they also affected by the lockdown situation?
Well, the situation of insecurity is going to rise for sure. We don't even have the security manpower to man the nation. If you look at the United Nations recommendation for policing, you discover that how many police are to be for every 10 persons, every 10 citizens, or in every street, the amount of policemen that should be in every street, at least 5 to 10. There should be rapid response. And we don't have such manpower, though we have numerous youths unemployed and qualified to even be in the police force or in the military. But of course, the enabling environment perhaps has not permitted them. So in the crime wave that is going on right now, it is because of hunger. And like we say, it is not proper for you to steal from your brother. It is not proper for you to rob a defenseless sister. It is also not good if you are a Christian or a Muslim, like we do in this part of the world, religious people. We should also, in our religiosity, add godliness. Okay. You can't be religious without godliness. And what happened in Lagos that we saw, they say hoodlums used about 55 persons. They came with about 105 buses loaded. I don't see that as armed robbery. I think it is a work from courtesan. Some group of persons wants to rival court groups want to just take advantage of the situation and cause mayhem.
But that's the thing. The Lagos State Police actually came out to say, oh, all this isn't true. Like, nothing happened like that. There were no hoodlums. There's no courts rivals.
In Mangoro area of Agege.
They actually came out to say there's nothing like that. I think there was an article they published.
Well, if people have taken into what we call fake news to the extent that they could malign a whole nation by publishing rubbish into believing that this is what is happening, like they made us believe one time, except some of us who wants to go deep in digging what was actually happening, that president was marrying another woman and the whole nation, this bad news was flying. And that is why we call for this bill, social media bill, that people said is going to gag them again. If you look into
social media is saying something else, the police is saying
another thing
else.
And so we don't know which one is to believe anymore. So I think it is proper that information goes, is communicated when verified. Now, the lockdown is just 2 weeks. I believe nobody will die. I also believe there is no consequence to that. And I also believe, I have the prospect that so-called palliative will come. I don't think the government will be that so, I don't know how to say that they are not giving palliative. State government, you have your senators, you have also your reps, you have your chairman of local government, you also have your councillors. Calls are beginning to come in, and I will begin to take the calls now to see if situation report could be given to us. The numbers to call again are 08137015949 or 07054327616. If you are calling from abroad, please remember to put the country code, which is +234, before you dial the digit.
Okay, we've lost the caller.
We lost the caller.
So please do call back. It's still the situation room. Tell us what you're feeling right now. Tell us what's going on around you. Just tell us how the lockdown is affecting you. Tell us if you agree or disagree with whatever is going on.
Yeah, we can take your comments too. If your comments are civil, we'll take your
You
comment.
have another caller?
The caller is the man that just left the studio, and I think this is personal.
Okay. It's still Television Nigerian Situation Room, and right now we will be bringing you this video. We took it out from the social media, a situation that we saw in the Lagos State area where Nigerians had to attack a bus, obviously carrying bread. I mean, just look at the video and then we'll come back to you.
Corona Pandemic by the Patriots Club of Nigeria. No country in the world is prepared for this challenge. The governor of New York is crying out for help. It currently has capacity for 53,000 intensive care unit beds, and current total need is about 140,000. New York State needs more money than the stimulus package provides. So there's a hole of about $15 billion, and the stimulus only provides for $3.8 billion for the state of the New York. UK is calling for 250,000 volunteer workers to assist with the deliveries to the vulnerable. The Spanish government is having to convert hotels into health facilities. The Italian Prime Minister cried openly as he strained to a wit's end. India has completely locked down 1.3 billion people in a bid to curtail the spread. The stories are appallingly scary. The information is terribly scary when we see our status, those of our public health system, and the level of information and acceptance of COVID-19 downtown.
Thanks for staying tuned. It is still the Situation Room of Television Nigerian, and we right now will have a caller on the line. Nike is online from Ibadan. Hello, Nike, can you hear us?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Nike.
Okay.
From Ibadan.
Thanks for joining the Situation Room of Television Nigerian.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. What can you tell us about Ibadan, the ancient city? What is happening right now?
Nothing much is happening right now because the lockdown is not affecting us. Like, everybody's talking about their daily business. So there's no you know that there's just curfew in Ibadan. Yeah. Like from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay. So everything is still going well, nothing much. But I feel there should be like kind of a lockdown to probably every state because it's more better, it's more safe, more secured. Because now the population now keeps increasing, even yesterday is at 11. So I feel it would not be wise to just lock down everywhere, at least for this 2 weeks, instead of just single states, right?
Are you people, observing the social distance?
Oh yes, we are. Everybody's being very careful. Everybody's observing it very, very well. So I think that's really a good thing. That's like a good start. A really good thing for us here. Yeah.
All right, Nick. Before now, there are usually this traffic between Lagos and Ibadan, and now Lagos is on a shutdown. Do you see? Is there any effect of that shutdown, lockdown in Lagos affecting on Ibadan?
I don't think so. Yeah, because there's no traffic. Okay, I think it's actually like that's affecting us here too, because people can go to Lagos. People that want to go to Lagos can go to Lagos again. So there's no like much traffic. There's no more thing to do. Do you understand?
Okay.
So I think it's affecting us in a way, and it's not affecting us too in a way too.
All right, thank you for calling in, Nico from Ibadan. Just you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so Ibadan is not on a lockdown. Incidentally, the governor of Oyo State, I think Makinde, he was the one of the governors that tested positive and recovered
from a rally.
And recovered from the COVID-19. So shouldn't he think? Don't you think he's supposed to be one of the frontline states that's supposed to put a lockdown, because he knows? I mean, I've been through this. I know what it can mean for it to move around, but it appears he doesn't. It's not really concerned.
You see, when it suits them, they wouldn't lock down, because right now Ibadan is going for another round of campaign for their election. You understand, gubernatorial election, and he too is seeking re-election. Apart from Ibadan, not many states have locked down, but I think the key states that the federal government locked down, plus the state governor of Rivers that locked down his place, Rivers State, they are the gateways to the country. And so we have to do the same thing to Sokoto State and then some of the northeastern states. We have to lock them down to where people come into the country through Chad, even without being questioned. Although we have to lock down the borders and so on and so forth, like that, to prevent movement from other countries. We saw what is happening in Niger, where despite this pandemic, people were rallying, jubilating for election, queuing to vote, instead of them to cancel the election first. After these things subside, they can conduct their election. Benue has cancelled their local government election for now, waiting for the proper time to do it. So anything political now should be rest aside. Let's face this pandemic holistically, using every necessary avenue to ensure that we are not
So
infected.
you're saying the reason why
Makinde
has not okay.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very sure. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good day.
Hello? Good day, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You want to contribute to our program?
Yes, my name is Adana. I'm calling from Gariki,
Okay.
Abuja.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your name again, please?
Adana.
Adana. Okay, Adana, you from Gariki. You are welcome to the Situation Room of the Nigerian News and Television Nigerian.
Thank you.
So what is your take on
I
the...
just wanted to
Yeah.
make some contribution.
You said?
Go ahead.
I
Go
just want to
ahead.
make some contribution.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Towards the attention.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. I mean, like, we didn't even prepare for the first one that just finished. And we just found a way to just try and survive. So this one now, I don't even know what people are going to do, because the situation is very terrible right now. So people have not even paid their last month's salary. I don't know how people are going to cope.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Adana, what part of Gariki are you?
In Area 8.
All right. So, what have you observed so far since this lockdown in Area 8? Is it a total compliance to the directive? Is everybody staying at home, or are there some pockets of? Or is there, yeah. What really is the situation?
The situation here is that, like, people are actually adhering to the rules, and they're not really going out. I mean, myself, I've never gone out in a while. But I know, like, sometimes I see people walking, like, taking a walk on the road. But it's in, like, small groups, maybe, like, 2 people, 1 person, they just take a walk or jog. They are really complying with the rules and regulations, so now.
Okay.
All right, thank you for calling, Adana. And what do you expect, or what do you want the government to do, since you said it will be very difficult for the next 2 weeks?
It's going to be extremely difficult because people have not even gotten over the first one. People can't even eat, especially people that get their daily, like how they get money or get food from their daily work. So I feel like the government should try as much as possible to be able to like share money for people, because apparently I think they have data of people in Nigeria, and I'm sure there's the way they can share money. They can share money to people that are actually in need. So I just hope the government is actually listening to Nigerians, because people are really suffering like this period.
Okay.
All right.
There's a way they can just contribute, not just by food stuff. Because even the food stuff they are sharing is not even enough.
Okay, but Adana, do you know anyone? Do you know anybody that has received food stuff or money?
No, I don't know anybody, but I see it on social media.
Okay.
So
it's all right. Thank you so much for calling in on the Situation Room.
all right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
That was Adana calling from Abuja, Gariki area of Abuja, telling us about what's actually happening in Area 8. Yeah, a lot of people have complied.
She has already seen them sharing food on social
on social
media.
And that's a confirmation that at least something went down.
Going around,
Right.
at least.
I don't know.
But she's still insisting that since the federal government have our data, just like what Mr. Spectacle was talking about the other time, they should actually still share money. So Nigerians are looking for food package and money. Wow.
Well, she did mention that even the food that's being shared
it's not enough.
Not enough. I mean, and from me, I'm just saying even the money
will it still be enough? It still won't be enough.
So the thing is that people should always look out for each other. At least we survived 2 weeks. We can also survive another 2 weeks. And another 2 months. And another...
no.
Why are you saying no?
No, we are survivors. You know, we are built. We are.
If you saw what happened in China, there was a lockdown, absolute lockdown, and they have to fumigate every street, fumigate even houses. You understand? Quarantine people by force.
Fumigating, I still don't get this aspect of it. I was still going to ask. You told me that this virus is not a living thing. And then you are fumigating. What does the fumigation do? Apart from just like, okay, an academic exercise, we are fumigating to keep this thing. Does it really? It's not airborne. I mean, the virus is not airborne, except you touch surfaces and direct it back to your nose. Now, if you fumigate, I mean, it's something to do, though.
The thing is that I think, just for instance, like this table here, this is a surface, and an infected person has actually come in direct contact with this table. Their hands have been all over. They have sat down. They may have coughed, sneezed, or anything around this table or around this vicinity.
Let me define the state of viruses that we have from the dictionary. He said a virus is an infective agent, mark that word, agent, that typically consists of a nucleic acid or acid molecule in a protein coat. It's too small to be seen by light microscopy and is able to multiply only within the living cells of a host. And he gave example of the hepatitis B virus. And then again, another definition for system virus is a piece of code which is capable of copying itself and typically has a detrimental effect, such as corrupting the system or destroying the data. So you can see two various forms of virus, and they gave a synonym of virus like worm-like, this tiny worm that penetrate into human skins. Not all are bacteria in nature, some are virus. So from the first definition, virus could also be created using chemical, using biological substances. You know,
and when you are fumigating, you are using chemicals to attack.
So in this case, it's like to neutralize the effect of a chemical virus. You understand? Even if it is a living virus like worm-like or tiny what do they call it? Those millipede virus that has worm-like situation look that enters somebody's body, it can be killed by fumigation.
What I actually picked was the agent.
The agent part. Yeah.
You know, it's just like let's put agent into reality.
Yes.
Who are agents in reality? They are particular people situation in different places to make it easier for people. Just let's say for like you're looking for a house, it's a particular agent in Abuja for let's say this particular homes agency that they do. They will be situated in one place. So you have to come in contact with them for them to be able to take you somewhere else. So it's the same explanation I was giving about this table. They are there. Okay. The person have, you know, they say it's through droplets. You understand? So it's already here. Now, by the time another person doesn't even know that someone that was infected has come in contact with this table, and I'm coming, you know.
You press your hand.
Touch like that, and then later I'm on my face, my eye, my nose, my mouth. Thereby I have come in direct contact already, and I'm going to get it. There's no two ways. So that is why they have to fumigate with those heavy chemicals, so that if you fumigate here now, they will no longer be there again on the table.
All right, now can we briefly look at before, because we are running out of time, the effect of this coronavirus on non-COVID-19 diseases. Now it's as if the whole world is only what everybody is suffering right now is coronavirus. We're not talking about malaria. I'm not talking about hepatitis. You just mentioned hepatitis.
We're talking about the pregnant women.
You know, we have had a case of Lassa fever. You know, so coronavirus seems to have overshadowed every of this situation. Now, what really is going on right now? People are on a lockdown. Sometimes even accessing a hospital might be a very difficult situation because of the blocks on the road and all of that.
It's not even assessing as in being difficult. There's now fear of you actually going to a hospital. That you're, okay, like the Kano case, the Prime Hospital, that was where the first case was discovered. Now, Prime Hospital in Lamido Crescent, the person apparently is a diplomat, a former diplomat. He went there as in to inquire what was wrong with him, go through some tests and all those things. They now found out he had coronavirus. Now he came into that hospital. He definitely maybe touched one or two persons. Now before that hospital, he went to a previous hospital, that's Nasarawa Hospital in Kano, before coming to that Prime Hospital. So do you see the chain? So do you see something? Now imagine me now actually going to that Prime Hospital that same day that person was there, and whatever surface he must have touched after he left, I came and I also, because I'm not feeling, and I touched too.
Because it has to work with your DNA and this other RNA. These are the things that are in your gene.
No.
It has to work with your gene, and because it works with your gene, once the carrier touches any of the gateways, the eyes,
which are your mucous membrane,
your
eye, your nose,
it immediately penetrates, even if it is chemical in nature. So it has to go straight to your DNA and your RNA.
Okay, so now does it, like if a carrier of coronavirus, if he's sweating, or because normally before now we are
because it is genetics, because it has become genetics, it is possible that even sweat can communicate it, because sweat is a form of excretion from the body through the kidney and the liver function too. So
although it has not been verified that it can actually be communicated, contracted to another person through sweat.
No, because they say the chemical, you see, your body excretes
waste products, which is your sweat.
And the sweat, the urine, the sputum, the metabolic, or anything metabolic in nature, they can actually infect others.
Okay, so it's not really about cough.
So it's not really just about the droplets.
No, it's not about. Why they say droplet? It is easier that way, because in a crowd where you don't engage in social distance, like I'm too close to you, or some people have.
That's why they advise physical distance.
Yeah, so when some people when they
social distancing, it's physical distancing.
So you've changed
that social distancing is different from physical
but people still collect money. You see,
it's not even about the money.
You still collect money.
I still worry about.
I will collect the money.
I worry about the transportation system. Because it's not everybody that owns a car.
Yes, that's true.
And then you must sit with people.
Yes.
And then you can't tell a taxi driver to just carry 2 people at the back.
That's why they ask you to stay at home. If you are working in a media organization, stay there. They didn't ask you to. You stay in the media organization. They didn't ask you to move around.
Okay, so if you don't move around, how do you get situation report from outside?
You have to give social distance while doing that.
No, how do you go?
Sanitize your hands.
That is why the healthcare workers, and the journalists, they are always prone to all these
things.
War, diseases, outbreaks, all this.
Now, let's come back to what we are talking about. The situation about health care places, hospitals, clinics, chemists, and all of that. So now you mentioned the fact that because of the coronavirus, maybe if I have headache, I have something in my, I'll be scared about going to the hospital because I might just contact it from
or once you develop any symptom of COVID.
Hand sanitizer. The person that already has it, what does that hand sanitizer have to still do for that person?
Okay.
That is even one question I
No, if it's perhaps the person has put his hand in his nose and he now comes with the sanitizer and rubs it, isn't it supposed to kill off that?
That's for someone that doesn't have the virus yet, yeah?
No, someone that has the virus already.
It's not
and now comes to the hospital or anywhere and comes in contact with the hand sanitizer and uses it. The ones that he has taken from his nose or mouth or wherever
can
that are on
still
his
be
hands.
contained.
Now the hand sanitizer is not supposed to kill it off.
Now, what about him
that is
already coughing or sneezing, and then on that surface where he was?
But is it a given that everybody that has coronavirus must cough or sneeze?
Yeah, because
time, yes.
you see.
But I said that there are some people that say they are symptomatic.
The thing has to infect your respiratory system.
It's an inevitable symptom.
Yes. So when it's an inevitable symptom,
yes,
especially the dry cough, why it chokes you. That is why the most genetics and people who the professor precisely that I've been trying to reach, he gave vivid and explicit analysis about this.
You know why I asked this question?
Because
they said, sorry, let me. It's not. I'm cutting you short now. They said. Like you said, heard when the president read, he said 92% they contact those people that had contact with
tracing.
They've done that. Now, does it mean someone like the son of the former vice president and whoever that those people that came in that they said they had contact with these persons and they now had it? Does it mean at those places they were coughing or? You understand what I'm saying?
It is not every contact that could be infectious. But if the carrier of it, the droplet, like we said, the whooping cough without the dry cough, and you are inhaling the droplet, or it touches you, you become a carrier too.
You see why it's advisable? They tell those people that are infected or even have a cough, they should use a handkerchief,
a very thick handkerchief, or you sneeze into your garment.
Down there.
You see why?
To touch your skin, it's trapped.
Let me explain.
So if I come in contact with your shirt, for instance,
let me see. They said from the analysis that they have, Mr. Charles, from the analysis we have so far from experts, I said the reason why they ask you to sneeze into your wool or your shirt is because the chemical, let's assume it is a chemical or biological substance,
or biological weapon,
die quickly, with this on a dry, on a cotton, on fabrics, and then may not be able, because it's not in your palm where you shake hands, and nobody can come and probably hold
this. But it is a chemical. Have you forgotten that it's still a chemical?
Yeah, regardless, you pull when you go home, you pull your shirt, bath regularly. Apart from washing hands regularly, you have to also bath regularly
and wash your clothes.
And wash your clothes regularly,
so that anything contact with it will not permeate or find its way through your gateways to your organs.
This spirit, I think immediately you're coming into your house, you undress quickly, you drop them like in
before
washing
hugging
machine or
anybody,
anything,
your
before
wife or your
anything.
children, go
and
to the
once
bedrooms.
you drop those things, because you still used your bare hands to remove those clothes, you quickly wash your hands before you now start saying you want to pick something to even drink. Immediately after doing that, please just enter your shower, take your full bath with your antiseptic soaps.
Yes.
Oh, antiseptic
Yes,
soap.
and not just so antiseptic soaps.
With alcohol of about 70 to 90%. The sanitizer is not just any sanitizer. Because the alcoholic content that could neutralize chemical substance from your palm will have to be high in percentage of alcoholism. You know, there are spirits that have 35%. There are spirits that have 25%. There are spirits that have, 5%.
So what if I'm looking out now for a sanitizer, what will I be looking for?
70 and above.
From 70% and above. Like the one I'm using is 85%.
70 and above. So it's not just a sanitizer and you just go and buy sanitizer. I've seen
because
some
some are actually still
using a
manufacturing
kai to wash their hands. Yes, kai could kill some bacteria and worms, but
it cannot kill COVID-19.
It may not be able to kill virus, because even 100 degrees centigrade of boiling point of water can even bacteria can escape it. So not to talk of virus.
What about, like, instead of aside from using the alcohol-based washing your hands, what about taking in spirits? People that take dry gin.
I think there was a case that it killed about is it 300 or 600 of
the spirit. There is nobody that can take 90% spirit alcoholic content. 90%. It will destroy your bronchitis. It will destroy your lung, because your organs.
If you take it like in a shot, like this shot.
The consumable spirit that I know, the least percentage is 35, and the highest percentage is 45. Okay. That is consumable, and that 35 to 45, you have to be strong, like to withstand it. Like the former president will say, Olusegun, is anybody that could take a lomo, fear that person, that the person could be a murderer.
But it's not advisable to take in the alcohol, because I saw a case of one bus conductor was dishing out this spirit for people to use to wash their hands in the absence of hand sanitizer. And people we are happy. People were grateful.
But the money that you see, the ignorance, the amount of money he used in buying that much alcohol, he could have used it to actually get little bottled sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
It's actually very expensive right now.
So call us if you are watching us live from your destinations, your various locations. This is the Situation Room of the Nigerian News and Television Nigerian. Give us a call. The numbers are 08137015949 and 07054327616. If you are calling from outside the shore of Nigeria, please remember to put the country code +234. We could take comments. We have comments on our Facebook page.
And can read out some of the comments.
But most of the comments are very, 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 we won't take some comments that are not civil, but we may look for some that are friendly and then civil to read.
All right, while we look at that situation, I saw something in the news that the IMF was giving out some debt relief to some countries in Africa, specifically because of the COVID-19 situation and the economic impact of the COVID-19. And surprisingly, their own country was not in that list. And I was wondering, what could be this time that, any help the country could get, it's welcome. And the IMF is excluding Nigeria.
Have they given any African countries?
No, it's a debt relief. It's about owing debts and all of that. And releasing the debts, okay, some percentages of it, all of that. But Nigeria was not mentioned out of the 25 countries. Are they presupposing that we can handle our own business, we can pay up our debts without going for any relief or something? What do you really think?
I actually don't know what to say about that though, because it's kind of cornish. Like, why would Nigeria be exempted? Because we actually need it now. This is the best time. Probably, maybe if we didn't get that, the federal government can actually look into giving people money through their BVN and having their data by that time.
Oh, perhaps Nigeria is a giant of Africa. I mean, we are looking.
But are we
if you are IMF and if you are World Bank and you are hearing billions of naira being stolen every now and then, you are hearing EFCC have recovered 70 billion from social person, 4 billion, 5 billion, and then you don't know where the money is going to and whether they are returning the money to the original intent it was approved. You understand? So if you are hearing all those things, would you borrow that country?
But Nigeria has even kept applying for loans.
Regardless of all the money they've recovered.
Most economists even say that we don't have any reason to look for loan. And that has been the problem or the laxity why we have not been productive. If we look at Paul Kagame, though we know he has spent 20 years on seat in Rwanda, but you see what he's doing. So instead of trying to get away from debt, indebtedness, don't you know even what the scripture said about debt? Say a debtor is a slave to his creditor. And that is why anything goes. Any command they issue to us from World Health or from World Bank or from United Nations, we just carry foolishly without even knowing that we are a sovereign nation. And we have to stop. We have to elect leaders who would look inward and believe in the content of Nigeria. Because if we don't produce and make sure our economy becomes viable, we have economists all over. Even the economic team of Mr. President now can lead anywhere in the world. Look at Okonjo-Iweala, look at Soludo, look at Emir Sanusi. Many of them. We have patriots in the economic world and we could do better. You understand? And then each time you are looking for how to borrow dollars because the conversion is much. Why not look inward and create? What about the IGR? What about the IGR that we've been collecting? What about the oil? And yet, if you look at it, our Nigerian NNPC, the refinery, are still not working, even though it is that company that gives us everything. 98% of our GDI comes from the oil. And then we left the equipment there desolate because we are not competent to believing in ourselves or handling what belongs to us.
Is it okay for us, for we citizens, to be able to make statements like we are tired of complaining?
Yes, we could make statements like that we are tired of complaining.
Because I think we can't talk enough.
Exactly. The problem is just too enormous, too plenty.
All right, Situation Room Television Nigerian, we have been looking at the COVID-19 situation in Nigeria. How has Nigeria been coping? Now we have an extension of the lockdown situation for 2 weeks in Abuja, Lagos and Ogun State, and also some other states that have extended their lockdown. Anambra State has extended. I think Rivers State has joined. Ekiti State has also talked about extending.
Let's take these three statements on our WhatsApp page, on our live page, that people who are watching us. Okay. Now, one Romero, or the next Caesar, is not a Nigerian, and I believe he's writing from abroad. He said, I want to say hi, and I have a lot of Nigerian friends, and used to live in China, Wuhan, precisely, before the breakdown. I have a lot of comment about that. Then I have replied him to tell us he's yet to come. He said he wants to say hi to TVN and the guests.
He's still currently in Wuhan?
No, he said he left. Okay. Romero Ordone Caesar. This is an Italian name. Romero.
He left Wuhan.
He left Wuhan.
Probably is in Italy.
He went back to his country.
Okay, and he doesn't have the virus.
He said I used to live in China. Wuhan, before the breakdown. I have a lot of comments about this, about that. So about Wuhan.
Let's hope he tells us.
Then Haji Elias Henihitan. I don't think, he said, please, some are working in private companies, that is citizens. And that is okay, since they have locked down, no payment since 3 weeks. since 3 weeks ago, me and colleagues, I want to say me and my colleagues, we are at home and we have finished our savings. That is Haji Elias Henihitan, and the comment is live there. There's Sandra Ifi. Sandra Ifi says, no country prepared for this pandemic, but they support their citizens. Say other countries, no country prepared for this pandemic, but they support their citizens. That is Sandra Ifi. He didn't mention where he's calling from.
Obviously,
and Sandra Ifi is still saying, staying at home won't solve the problem. Support the masses and we will stay at home. She still mentioned, I think she's just bugging us with much comment. Okay, she is in Germany. So here in Germany, we have been at home and the government support its people. You can see it live when you go to our comment box on this very topic on Television Nigerian on Facebook. It's there. On Twitter, you can reach us. On YouTube, you can get to us. And on our website, tvn.news, www.tvn.news, you can watch us live now as we are. You see?
All right. Do you still have comments?
Yeah,
we have more.
I have. I want to read out this comment that this person is making. It's very solid. No survivor in Nigeria. No survivor in Nigeria. The people we know recovered, we haven't heard anything from them. We want to hear from a survivor in our country, Nigeria.
Good. And the same thing if he is saying, he says, kindly close this program if you don't have an important topic to discuss to benefit the poor masses. They can't eat grammar. So she's still repeating. We are only teaching the government. If you are still watching us, we are doing our best here to make sure that we pass your message like this to the government and to the people. We're also educating them on how to maintain social distances and stay at home.
All right, it's the Situation Room, Television Nigerian. We'll be going on a quick break right now, and when we return, we'll talk some more about the situation in Nigeria, the lockdown situation in Abuja and elsewhere. Join us again.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country.
We don't have this kind of...
So goes the opening lines of the 6-line National Pledge of Nigeria. Today, not a few, whether young or old, merely recite the National Pledge as a matter of routine or tradition, with their hearts being poles apart from the very spirit, creed, and essence of the pledge. Many simply do not understand its purport or feel the import of it, while many others choose to observe the pledge in breach only. Today we have decided to walk on the footpath of the very words of the National Pledge, keeping its vision and essence in our hearts, in our souls, and in our minds.
I pledge
to Nigeria,
my country,
to be faithful,
loyal, and honest,
to serve Nigeria with all my strength,
to defend her unity,
and uphold her honor and glory.
So help me God. Nigeria, no doubt, will truly be the giant of Africa, developed and well rated in all indices, if her national pledge is treated with sacred obedience. It's on us, it's our duty and responsibility to make this country a better place. Let's live the pledge.
Joining us again, it is still the Situation Room of Television Nigerian, and right now we are going to just be taking our parting shots. I mean, another 2 weeks of lockdown, starting with you, Mr. Joe. What do you have to say to Nigerians? Just Nigerians for another 2 weeks.
Okay. Whatever we have been doing in the past 2 weeks, we should continue in this next 2 weeks. Not social distancing, physical distancing. Even if you're going to go out at any point, if you're going to go to the market, please use your face mask. Do not use a hand gloves. Just actually learn how to wash your hands always, because there's a recent research that the hand gloves will actually protect you from the virus.
Okay.
We should just adhere to all the rules that have been stated, and we should just calm down.
Okay.
Everything will be fine.
Fine.
We'll pass through this.
All right. And Daniel?
Yeah, and I will just advise the security operatives. I will really say that in a situation like this, once people have distanced themselves from one another, they should not molest people. They should not further scrutinize our rights. And that the Nigerian citizens should also obey the rules and regulations given already. But they should be civil. The Nigerian security operatives for this pandemic lockdown should be civil, and they should be very, very diplomatic. No abuse of human rights, no assault on Nigerian citizens, because the pain they are going through, you don't need to add to that. And you too, being a security operative, please keep a social distance, no handshake. Ensure you don't jam-pack yourself in your vehicles as you move about. And the federal government, please, and the state government, local government, spirited Nigerians, senators, House of Rep members, chairmen, councillors, do your best. Ensure you reach out to your citizens in a time like this. Stay blessed.
All right, and then it's just going to be 2 weeks more added to the extension. And of course, we are resilient, we are Nigerians, we are strong people. This is another time, another 2 weeks for us to show patriotism, obey the laws of the land. The law says, please don't move around. Please obey every directive from the NCDC on staying alive. COVID-19 is not a death sentence. If you've contacted COVID-19, deal with it. There are a lot of support from the government, a lot of support from prayers from your loved ones and well-meaning individuals, and we'll pull through this. We've had survivors, and we have people going through it, and hopefully we are going to get through the situation stronger and better. Television Nigerian Situation Room will return again tomorrow to give you updates on how the fight against COVID-19 is holding up. I am Charles Ibe, and Daniel Atai has been in the Situation Room.
Thanks for having me.
As well with Messi Joe. And it's been a pleasure having you join us on this episode. Let's do this again tomorrow. Bye for now.